Okay, thank you. Thank you, Saina. So just want to start by saying, really always very excited to be here, and really, really happy to be part of this and this unfolding of awakening that we're all experiencing together. It's so much easier and faster when we do it together and when we support each other. And I just love how that happens here, awakening together. It's wonderful. And I really wanted tonight to focus on an aspect of our awakening that I tend to find in a lot of beings we have a lot of resistance to, and looking at why that is. And that's kind of the fundamental thing about awakening that it took me a long time to grasp, in that it really is an undoing. It is a forgetting, a letting go of thoughts that we've held on to for a very long time, thoughts that we may have a real loyalty to, even though we may be aware that those thoughts are causing us some pain. And really why it is a process of undoing. Really, our natural state is of peace. When we're not believing any thoughts, we're going to feel peace, a tremendous peace that really blossoms into love and joy, and eventually a deep, deep bliss, a sweetness in our experience that just is there. And for myself, a lot, a lot of beings as well, that unfolding of peace can be inhibited because there's certain thoughts that we're holding on to that are very, very familiar. Thoughts about ourselves and others, thoughts about awakening itself, thoughts about our worthiness for the journey. And we can be unwilling to let go of some of these thoughts, even though they're painful. And it's really because of the process we've been through as human beings. We have been through situations in our life, in our awakening, in our relationships, in our career, wherever we have experienced something unpleasant. And we have been formed conclusions in our mind about these things that are kind of deeply embedded in our consciousness. They kind of like I'm probably showing my age now, but the groove on a 7-inch record is deeply embedded in there. And I really noticed this one day when one day I was driving, and phone was ringing, and I stopped to answer the phone, and I got some really bad news that was really, at the time, years and years ago, very shocking. And for a long time after that, every time I drove down this same stretch of road, there was this real remembrance in my being of the pain and the shock and the impact of that phone call. And it's only really with some investigation and some time passing and seeing that feeling doesn't arise again. So our consciousness is habitually holding on to certain ideas based on what we feel, that we, what was left a mark, an indentation in our sense of self. And because of this, we can be very reticent to let go of these thoughts, even if they no longer serve us, even if they are working against our peace. So why do we resist letting go of them? If awakening is really, if living as the awakened state, consciously, effortlessly, is really a letting go of all these ideas that we have, why do we find it so hard to, or challenging in certain areas more than others, to go back to this openness, this emptiness, this beginner's mind, as it's called in Zen, where we really don't know anything where we're not holding on to any thought at all. When we're not holding on to any thought at all, we'll feel free, we'll feel light, we'll feel vital, we'll feel peaceful, we'll have a sense of passion and purpose, we'll have an excess of energy, all the things that perhaps we wanted to feel. And it's really the thoughts that we're holding on to tend to be the ones that we still think are useful and, of course, true to some degree. If I think a thought is useful, then I'm going to defend it, I'm going to hold on to it. And if we can come to accept inside that some part of us is going to want to keep this sense of self together just as much as we want to let it go, our thought constructed self that really sort of boxes us into this cage of thoughts where our experience can become very limited. There's also this energy working against that, trying to keep things the same, asking us not to let go of thoughts that no longer serve us because something inside is sure they do. You better hold on to this one because you might need this in the future. If this situation occurs again, you might need this thought. And we've all experienced that in whichever way we have. And it's really a self-protective mechanism that we have. Our mind has these ways of protecting and guarding and putting up walls. We all do this until we release them. In case we get hurt, in case we get hurt, in case we get such a phone call or some news or something happens where we feel some kind of negative emotion. And our mind can begin to think about things as a way to defend ourselves against, to cushion against the shock or the emotion in such a moment. The more that we think about something, the less we have to directly feel it and deal with it and be present to it. So if we can really understand that our thinkingness is often a defense mechanism against really being present, really feeling in this moment, then we can make a conscious choice in that moment to bring more attention to what we're experiencing in the moment rather than our thoughts about it. Even if that, whatever we're experiencing isn't necessarily pleasant, maybe some negative emotion we'd rather not feel. But when we're not thinking about it or we're not agreeing with the thoughts about it, we can experience peace, whatever is going on. And this is a shift over in the way that we're functioning. More and more, we're turning into our natural state, relying on our natural state of openness, allowing thoughts, emotions to come and go, not holding on tightly to anything, where we are beginning to relax into that, noticing more and more each day where we tend to want to defend ourselves by thinking about it. If I think about something that I don't like that's going on right now, I'll try to probably put a positive spin on it, maybe project something into the future about it, and make myself feel better by thinking about it, all in an attempt to kind of avoid what I'm feeling right now. Or I might spin it the other way. I might begin to blame myself for it, or blame someone else for it, so that I can begin to feel angry, which is going to feel better than feeling in real pain in that moment, in some despondency or something. So awakening then can be a simple process of really learning to be authentically present in this experience that we're having, noticing that we have the capacity already to just be with whatever shows up. And that more and more as we do that, we're going to enjoy, instead of trying to feel better, trying to defend and guard ourselves or escape this moment to feel better, we're going to begin to indulge our human urge to feel good and to avoid pain by the peace of authenticity. We can replace this urge to feel better by the peace and the love and the joy that comes from being present. So it's engaging that human mechanism that we all have to want to avoid pain. There's nothing wrong with that, of course, but maybe we just do that in a more intelligent way as we begin to see clearly. Because it really is true that what we know will hurt us, and what we don't know won't hurt us. An awakening, we can describe it, surrendering, process of surrendering our opinions, our beliefs, or you might prefer to think of it as a forgetting all the things that you've learned about yourself and others, and deconstruction and undoing, taking apart, really only the places where we hold a very strong set way of thinking. So we can put this into practice right now if you want to join in meditation with me. And we'll just spend 20 or so minutes indulging this beginner's mind. And it's really just to imagine, remember how you were when you were a very small child, and maybe also how you were before you'd even heard of the word awakening or satsang or non-duality, or whatever it is. Where if you remember back to how you felt when you first came across any teaching, maybe this is your first session, can you put yourself back into that position where you don't have a clue that you're supposed to be getting anywhere, that you also don't have a clue that you're not getting anywhere, where you didn't even realize there was something to attain. You were just here and just listening. And any thought that comes up in this meditation, we can acknowledge it. Any emotion that comes up, we can be present to it. We don't need to follow any particular thought. So we're just forgetting by disengaging, noticing that urge to feel better by going to thoughts, and then stepping back from that whenever we're able to, and enjoying instead, reveling how it feels to just be here. So let's do that now for a few moments. Let's just relax into this time we have together, just being present here. Noticing as we're sitting together that there might be some kind of urge to get somewhere, to have an epiphany, to see something. Just letting that be, letting it go, same thing really. What if just to be here was the goal? What if you can't fail in that? You are here right now. You've already achieved the purpose of this time, just being here. Noticing what thoughts come up and seeing if you're willing to just forget those. Can you forget for this time that there is anywhere to get to? Can you forget any evidence that you're not where you want to be? Can you forget that you don't feel as awakened as you want to? Can you forget that there is any difference between you and me? Can you forget that you're anything other than the self already? Forgetting just means watching and letting it pass by, not holding on to it tightly. Whatever we hold on to tightly, we will experience. And just diving into this moment where there is already peace, quietness, where there is already enough, where fulfillment is already here. It's going to let go of these ideas about progressing, deepening, evolving, becoming. We're going to let go of those. Just emptying out your consciousness of ideas that you might have come into this session with. Resetting yourself back to how you were before you even knew what satsang was, before you even heard of awakening. Just being here. Forgetting the feeling when it comes up that you might not be able to make it. And the sense that you're not going to be able to let go of everything you need to let go of. Let's just focus on this moment now. Right here, right now. There is something profoundly present about you. You are here already. There is nowhere else to get to. Forgetting any stories about journeys and destinations. Forgetting any stories about worthiness or unworthiness. Just spending some time with me in this very simple place, this very simple open space where we have forgotten everything. Forgetting any ideas you have about yourself, anything you need to do later, any ideas you have about other beings. Dropping any ideas about this meditation, that it needs to get you somewhere. And instead noticing you're already here. There's something very powerful here for you, as you. Can you forget what awakening is? Can you, just for this moment, forget whatever's going on in your day, in your life, right now? And just forgetting any ideas that you've further to go. Forgetting about yourself and others. All of your ideas of progress, how far you've come, how far there is still to go. Just enjoying how it feels to empty yourself out of all of this. Freedom right now, right here. You don't even have to stay like this. Just let go of that idea too. There's nothing to do or fix, nothing that needs to be changed about you. Going back to this beginner's mind, openness, curiosity, empty of concepts. Enjoying how this feels. From time to time, you might pick up a thought. You might find yourself following thought. It's okay, you just let go when you realize. Bring yourself back to here. You are the space in which thoughts are arising. They're happening inside you. They're coming and going. coming and going like your breath is moving. Everything's moving inside you, and you can just be here. Forgetting our history for a while, our future. Forgetting even that there's anything that needs to change. Allowing yourself to just enjoy being empty. This is freedom, this is liberation right now, free of concepts. They may be there, they may be coming and going. Just let them come and go. There's nothing you need to do with them. If you pick one up, just put it down again when you recognize. Right here, right now is where peace is, where love is, where joy is, where freedom is. What's it like without my spiritual goals and plans? What's it like without my awakening to-do list? Or to-be list? What if I'm just here? Falling in love with the simplicity of this beginner's mind. There is no advanced state other than this. This is it. Just not knowing anything. And knowing the nothingness. Savoring the emptiness. We don't have to carry everything around inside us, with us. We can just forget what we've learned. It will be available in the moments we need it, but we don't have to hold it. Any concepts that we need in any moment will present themselves. We don't have to manage that. Just empty, open, free, clear, light. Just replacing the urge to go with thoughts with the joy of just being. Simple shifting over, available right now, here. Just spending more and more time empty, free, consciously free. From time to time, attention will go to some thoughts, to some sensation, to some sound, to some emotion. From time to time, we might start wanting to get somewhere again. We can just notice that and let go. It's never going to get any better than it is right now, here, as this moment, in this moment. Just being here. Whenever we're feeling anything other than peace and love and joy, we're holding on to some idea, we can simply learn to forget. Just the beauty of not knowing, of having no conclusions, no opinions that we're holding on to tightly. They can be there. Let them come and go. Just being that space, that empty space of being, letting everything pass through you. The simpler, the better. Just being empty with me, enjoying, relaxing. Trusting that life will show us the next thing for us to forget. We can just relax. You are not the thinker. You are the space in which mind appears and disappears. It's all happening inside you and not to you. Just checking in. Are you open? Are you free? Are you empty? And if not, just dropping whatever you've picked up. You have this capacity already. You have this ability. So I hope you enjoyed taking a few moments. I hope it whet your appetite to be free and open for more of your day. And really that's all that's occurring, is that little by little each day you're spending more and more time empty of concepts. Empty doesn't mean absence of concepts, just that you're not particularly holding on to any, that you have forgotten it. And you can do this with your eyes open while you're walking around, while you're cooking, while you're driving, while you're talking, while you're interacting with others. Just noticing how good it feels and allowing that to replace the temporary buzz we get from thinking, from believing thoughts. So I want to save some time for sharing our experience or for any questions. So if anybody would like to share or comment or ask a question, invite you to just speak up or raise your hand or whichever you prefer. I'd love to hear your experience of the meditation. Okay, Anne? Yeah.
Yes, thank you. I just want to say thank you. And, I could see for the first time, um, and I saw it before you spoke it. So it was just perfect to kind of have the scene, kind of be somewhat startled by it and deepen into it, and then have you speak it. And the scene was, here in the Awakening Together Sanctuary, we do these being aware of awareness meditations 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, no matter what else is going on. It's just over for a year now. It's been an incredible practice. Just showing up, posting, knowing you've already accomplished it by showing up. You can't not be.
Yeah.
And if you check, you can't not be aware. It's actually here, no matter what else is going on. And yet, what I saw from this meditation we just did is there's some kind of idea in the background. And so you're saying now, notice you feel relaxed, notice you feel peace, and that is noticed and that is felt. But there's a little background thing going, yeah, but you can't store this up for later.
Yeah. Yeah.
This isn't going to last all day. I bet you're not going to have, so there's just this little subtle discrediting of actual embodied. I don't hear any voices. I don't, like my friend always says, where's my angel? I don't have any angel. I don't see any angels, but there's just this embodied peace and at homeness. And yet I hadn't seen till just today, just now, that this running narrative about how, oh yeah, it's good for the moment, but and there's just a little siphoning off of energy there. There's just like a kind of a regenerating of a separate self-belief that kind of throws a little shade on the experience. And so it wasn't long after that where then you said, this is it. You don't have to store it up. We're not like squirrels trying to get it, our cheeks full of all the nuts so that later we have them, right? I mean, so anyway, I just
get it all in there straight away.
So I just love the scene and I loved you speaking it, and it's just quite a gift. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I mean, they're very similar. It's not going to last. There's this little commentary. It's all right now, but later on, it's not going to be there. And it's very seductive, that, isn't it? You start to focus on it a little bit and it just siphons, as you said, this piece away, seemingly. But you become more aware of it, clearer, able to see it. And for me, this voice had like 5 or 10 things it would use. Either it's not going to last, or you'll screw it up somehow, or you're not worthy of staying. You can't just stay like this in that simplicity. And it had all these 10 things, and one of them would get me each time. So I just started to investigate each one a little bit. Why do I buy that? Why's my attention gone with it before I've even realized what's happening? It must be some validity I'm given to it, and just dropping those as you see them, right? It's a simple way to be. It's so ordinary, isn't it? Awakening, in a way. So very, very ordinary and available that we have to talk ourselves out of it somehow. Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Did anyone else like to share or comment?
Hi, Helen.
Hi, Zoe. How are you doing?
Hi. That was incredible. It felt like a God spa.
God spa. Lovely.
God spa. Yeah.
You get in it, but you never have to get out. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just really, it was so clear that there's nothing to do. Nothing. Yeah, I really just want to ask this other question besides thank you. A friend of mine gave me a book about this lady who sees angels, and I was just wondering if you could say anything about that. I was just thinking, so that's just phenomena that's created by the mind. And if there's angels, and there has to be devils too, or Can you see?
Yeah, there's, let's say there's beings of higher and lower frequencies, let's just say.
Okay.
There's beings that are more fear-based, just like there are human beings. And there's beings that are more love-based, you know, it's where everything is vibrational in the manifestational universe. And we might call them angels or whatever, but they're really just beings that are very evolved, or just have an incredible sort of spiritual power to help us when we need it, when we could do with a boost or a nudge along the right path, more likely. I often wonder how many times I've been nudged along the right path when I've gone off course. But it's not so much like good and evil, so to speak. You know, those opposites. It's more higher and lower frequencies, like anything is, isn't it? You can.
Okay, that helps. Thank you.
It's there's always been beings around us that are helping us, you know, and yes, they are. They're individual expressions of the one being, aren't they? That they serve a particular role in the process. We just might come to recognize them more clearly, or just sense them or feel them. Some people do that intuitively anyway, even before they come to awakening. But it's been clear that many times in my life I've been helped from my own stupidity, you know, helped away from that. Have you noticed something like that yourself when you've had moments where you've been nudged?
Well, yeah, if I look back, I can say that I've definitely been protected along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks. Yeah, it's just really looking at it from a non-dual perspective. At what you just said, it's just manifestations of the, well, of course, why couldn't there be any kind of manifestation?
Yeah. Just because you realize you're not the wave, you are the ocean, it doesn't mean the waves disappear. You can embrace the individual expression, and in as whether we call them angels, whatever we call them, there are those beings there that have devoted their existence to helping on a non-physical level. You know, they're there energetically, and just like the teachers, you know, that have come and gone and all of that. It's so much help there. And as we move into a more open stance of being, we're going to move away from those lower vibrational beings in a physical way too. You know, that anybody that doesn't have our best interests at heart will find it hard to come into our vicinity. Anyone that does will be kind of drawn to us in a way, you know, like attracts like in the manifestation, in the vibration.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah, because I was reading a passage last night where she was describing encountering a lower vibration, and definitely started the gears of the mind rolling. And
yeah, it's it used to terrify me, but when I realized it's my own awakening is my own best insurance and protection, you know, in that as I'm broadcasting love and non-resistance, it's not, you're not going to draw to you a being that's really intent on doing you harm. And in the physical world too, it works that way. You know, it's all vibrational in that way, so we can relax more as we wake up. Where just because a being doesn't have a human body anymore or never had doesn't mean they you know, it's vibrational, isn't it? So you know, like attracts like still, even then.
thank you.
Lovely. Good. Colleen, when you're ready.
Hi, Helen. I'm going to keep my video off because I'm sitting here in the dark.
It's okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah, this whole process is just accelerating, and it's really interesting. I had an experience the other day, since part of the process is just people showing up, like you were just talking about, people showing up with the same kind of ideas of that I have, and the same kind of, and realizing all the times when I had a question about something, and somebody would answer it, and oh my gosh, that's like God, God just talked to me, and just realizing that was me answering me. And and it's just a different twist of thinking of it in a different way, but so I'm going through this horrendous experience, but I had a connection with a person, and there was this attraction to this person, and we were just texting or whatever. And I came home one day and I thought, well, you're going to have to step it up, dude. If if you're interested in me, right, you're going to have to call me. And my phone rang immediately.
Yeah.
And
asking it is given. Asking it is given.
In my room, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh crap.
Careful what you ask for, right? Be sure you want to.
Yeah, it was so instant, though. It was just so instant. I mean, I've had experiences like that, but they usually take longer,
As you're coming out of time and space and these beliefs more and more, then manifestation is pretty on the ball with that, isn't it? There's less and less of a time delay. Sometimes you go, oh, that I didn't really mean to create that. Let me turn that one around, or I did want that, and it's come very, very quickly.
Wow. Yeah, I needed to hear that. Like you've said in previous videos, you've said we're that powerful, so whatever we concentrate on, whatever that, we just are that powerful. And I've had the opposite happen too, but I have this ability now to just love it. And I mean, with this person, I felt this attraction I haven't felt for many years. And then it was like, oh, talking myself out of it. And then I came to the whole, back to the unworthiness I felt my whole life of not being loved. And I was able to just cry and love it and go, yep, that's that thing again. And then, all the thoughts of all the relationship or whatever it is, they dissolve. Yeah.
It has to dissolve in the openness if you're willing to just love it, as you say. You feel it as best you can and love it. It'll begin to, you won't be ruled by it then, will you, so much?
Yeah.
And then careful what you focus on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, are you sure you want to
I think we lost you there for a moment. Can you hear us? Okay, maybe we've lost the connection there. Shall we go to Kelly? Whenever you're ready, Kelly.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's okay, yeah.
During the meditation, what Zoe said about the God spa, that was wonderful.
I love that phrase. I might steal that one, yeah.
Me too. I was, at times, I was falling asleep. but I didn't want to miss anything.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to stay awake, not to catch your words or to find just because I didn't want to miss it. I wanted to be awake.
Hmm.
Does that make sense? We were
It's just-
talking somewhat earlier about this. Is there more to that?
It's just it's just so nice, isn't it, to just be. No wonder we want to do it. It's just so effortless to be. It's cost us so much energy to believe these thoughts, and to each one that we believe diminishes our experience. When we just let go to whatever degree we can in a particular moment, there's just such a openness, a freedom, lightness, and as we said, the body can really, really relax, so much so that it feels like I'm falling asleep, or it may even look like it. And there's just such a delightful, I don't know what the word is, that it's just so delightful to just be here in this moment, that's full. It's so full, it's enough, it's complete. And we just don't want to miss that, that sense of this. Is like, for me, it was just like I'm seeing everything for the first time. Like I'm seeing the world and everybody in it without my thoughts about them so much. Seeing myself without my thoughts about myself, and seeing this satsang or whatever we were doing. I'm just here. I'm not trying to always get ahead on the next moment. There's just such a niceness about that.
And falling asleep feels nice too, but it's like I didn't want to miss being awake.
And eventually it's really like being asleep with your eyes open. There's just quietness, nothing going on. And you're just here enjoying, just watching the movie that's going on, that is this moment, whatever's going on in this moment. It's very much like that. As nice as it feels to, right when you're falling asleep, there's just this letting go and relaxing.
Yeah.
And you can experience that in the waking state. You don't have to be asleep. And you just more and more, it's like that. I'm just here. I'm just empty. And time to time, I'll play with a thought. As soon as I realize, I'll put it down again, when I start to feel, a bit yucky. Oh, what have I picked up? And let me put it down again if I can. And there is a real enjoyment, a real hunger to what's it like to experience this life free of the thoughts about it? What's it like to be here without having to think about it, and enjoying your existence, maybe for the first time ever. Not trying to get somewhere.
And not missing it by falling asleep.
Yeah, it's just a natural response of the body as it deeply, deeply relaxes. Maybe for each time you let go of something, the body just
Mm-hmm.
And there was a time when my meditations were all like this, and then I'd wake up because I kind of banged my head on the wall behind me. It's like,
yeah, right.
Yeah,
jerk.
So I started putting a pillow behind me for a while. It's I actually bought one of those airline pillows, that go around your neck, so I couldn't
keep your head up.
Yeah, it really worked quite well. But you get through that stage eventually, and you can just feel the same with your eyes open, standing up, moving around, talking, as you do in that beautiful openness.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that seems like a good place to wrap it up for tonight. I just want to say thank you again for this opportunity to be here with you all. And thank you. Namaste.